back down, thanks to regenerative braking. What that is when you press the brake pedal, the electric motor does most of the work slowing the car down, and also while it's doing that, it's sending electricity back into the batteries, charging the battery back up.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, so on paper, the car is rated to go up to 20 miles on electricity alone before the engine kicks in. And when I started on a dead battery from the top coming back down, it was recharging, and by the time I got to the bottom, I had over 15.2 miles of EV range returned to that car, by the way. Yeah, so
that's awesome.
That's pretty impressive.
Interesting experiment too.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot of features like that with cars these days. It's amazing some of the new.
Did you get a good
features.
view? What? Sorry, did you get a good view with the top, or were the clouds covering?
Covering some of it, half of it really. But I still got some good views and good pictures and stuff there. But yeah, I mean, you're looking straight down, and like just outside the window of your car driving up, and like a pure drop. And I can see why some people are scared of heights like that. And I can see why it reminded me why you were scared driving up that. If you just look like just past your hood, you see nothing but sky and the mountains miles in the distance.
Yes. I was actually riding in the passenger seat. I was not about to drive myself, even though it was my car. So now my car has this car climbed Mount Washington.
Out of curiosity, did your brakes smell when you got back to the bottom?
Oh
They got a
no.
burning smell because every car driving when I started driving up, all the oncoming cars were riding their brakes. Apparently, there was this burning smell every time another car passed me, and it's like, oh, what the hell? Yeah, this guy's been riding his brakes, and
Just weren't
I keep
using low
thinking,
gears.
someone should open up a brake shop down near the bottom of Mount Washington because they make a killing.
That's funny. Whenever I moved to Texas from Utah, I actually lived into what's called the hill country above, like, north of San Antonio. And it's literally hills. I mean, like, you get to some pretty, like, tall hills, I guess, and it's very beautiful. But people would ride their brakes down, like, hills. And it was literally making me want to, like, jump out of the car. It was making me so frustrated. Like, there was no reason. People would just ride their brakes down these hills.
It's called downshifting. Put it in the lower
You
gear.
don't even have to do it on those hills, is what I'm basically trying to say. So coming from Utah to going there, I was, like, losing my mind. But, yeah. Definitely on Mount Washington, people did the same. But also, like, I wanted it to be, like, super slow, so I didn't care that they were doing that. But I didn't want them. I definitely didn't want people trying to rush behind us. Like, that would freak me out. Yeah, Mount Washington is the tallest mountain in New Hampshire. It's one of the White Mountains.
East Coast, actually.
Is it one of the White Mountains, right?
Yeah, it's in the White Mountains. Yeah, Mount Washington. I think it's the tallest mountain in the entire East Coast.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing to do at Fort Fest. It was really pretty. It was so cool. There are there's this alpine zone, fragile alpine zone, and it's all these lichens and mosses and stuff like that growing there, and no trees, just these little things like
just over halfway up, the trees stop, and you just see little tiny Charlie Brown little trees.
Oh, that's
essentially, and then like a little bit of grass here and there.
Grown on the rocks.
Yeah.
It was so cool. It kind of looked like Iceland.
I would have thought that it wasn't.
near the top. Yeah.
I thought Mount Washington wasn't too high for the timberline, but maybe it is. I don't know.
Yep, it gets up to 6,200. So
6,288 feet according to that little.
that sign.
At the very top.
It also.
I've been in mountains that high in Utah, and trees still grow up there.
That's a good point. That's a very good point because that is the height of the mountain next to my house that I have to go to the pass. In fact, the mountain was taller, but the top of the pass was 6,000 something feet.
But basically the whole mountain range there is on like one enormous plateau. So then the mountains that extend above that don't look that much taller than Mount Washington, but in truth they're still way the hell higher up.
Yeah, I don't get why the trees can still grow
the base of it is still like a lot higher above sea level.
Yeah, I imagine there's a major climate difference between here and Utah.
But honestly, it's very cold in the area I'm talking about. Like you, Riley, are used to southern, like warm Utah. Yeah. I'm used to cold Utah. Yeah. And there were trees there. So now my mind is like boggled. Like why? Maybe it's something that has something to do with like the wind, because there was the highest or the fastest ever recorded wind for the time, I guess.
Yeah, like 230 something miles an hour.
Yeah, 230.
Yeah, when you get up to Mount Washington, there's a reason why some of the buildings have chains that they over the roof, and fold it.
Yeah, it looks like, you know, when something is on bungee cords on top of somebody's car. Yeah, that's what it looks like on those buildings.
Yeah, a building chain to the ground, imagine. And some people have to live at a station there for like several months out of the year during the winter, where they can't leave because essentially the weather won't let them, because it's a New Hampshire winter.
Well, they don't have to.
Not Washington, so they have to have like months of supplies
That's crazy.
ahead of time,
I would never
shipped
do
up to
that.
that, and then you're just sitting there for months at a time, I guess monitoring weather or something like that.
Sounds like something you'd have to want to do.
Yeah,
Oh,
you better have a good library of both books and movies, like that, cause
Yeah.
and what am I doing?
And
They're
download
paying me enough.
Oh yeah.
No internet. Alright, so, well, that's a good update. So you saw the protests today. I didn't see any, but I saw pictures of some from around where we all live, but I didn't see Keene.
Yeah, I went
I
by
did look it
this
up.
park on Mount Washington bumper sticker, and they treated me like I was a rock star.
That's silly.
It
Kinda
was
funny.
hilarious.
So, this from the Wall Street Journal. Ian sent this to me and I find it kind of funny. It says, college students are using no contact orders to block each other in real life.
Whoa.
Would you guys try that?
No, I mean,
No, there's been really extreme circumstances.
Exactly.
that's some pure hatred right there.
It says the notice of no contact order landed in Mary's inbox on February 15th, 2022. It was stern and lawyerly and contained a bulleted list of prohibited behaviors between May, then a Tulane freshman, and her former roommate. No approaching each other at any time. No communicating through third parties. No social media interactions whatsoever.
Good God, what did he do? Say all hail God Emperor Trump?
I don't know. Trump wasn't president at the exact moment, so I don't know. It says the directive, which came from Tulane's Division of Student Affairs. Oh, I thought it was just person to person, but the directive, which came from Tulane's Division of Student Affairs, was based on the right of every Tulane community member to avoid contact with another community member if such contact may be harmful or detrimental. So, though the measure was purportedly non-disciplinary, it ended on an ominous note. Said a violation of this order could result in an immediate interim suspension and against conduct charges. Conduct charges to you. Oh, that sounded weird, but that's what it says.
That whole policy was definitely written by the Mean Girls. Like those high school Mean Girls that Bill Maher would go on about.
Well, for all we know, May was the mean girl, so I'm definitely interested to know the rest of the story. But I'm wondering, like, is this going to become more common? Apparently, this happened in 2022. And this article is
Wouldn't
new.
surprise me either. It would also really concern me that something like that would happen.
Like, if you received it, or just that it happened to someone else.
If I received it,
Oh yeah.
I mean, if Bonnie came to me and said, "Hey, if Bonnie sent me a no contact order," that'd be really brutal.
I'd almost be flattered. You know, they'd be like, I'm worth a no contact order and all this trip to the government to get in paperwork just for this.
Well, I guess
Wow, you're like,
the thing is that you wouldn't necessarily have to involve the government. Like, there could be something like some people do, services, I forget what they call it, in New Hampshire, where, like, if people get into a fight, you can ask them to...
Mediation.
Yeah, mediation. There could be people that offer a no contact order service where you get a visit from Riley randomly knocking on your door. You're like, uh-oh, the no contact guy. And he's like, yep, this is from George, and I'm just delivering it. It says no contact for any reason, no, the bulleted list. It could be done without the government. It would just be kind of, antisocial. Like, there's no going up to face to tell the person, like, hey, I just don't want to be around you anymore. Something like that.
there'd be such a bijda on that. That's a Russian word for a word I cannot say on the air. So,
Okay.
So I figured how many people speak Russian.
I don't know, maybe some.
Yeah.
But, so anyways, it says, May, who agreed to only be identified by her middle name, was alarmed. She thought a no contact order, the campus version of a restraining order, was for cases of sexual misconduct. Could she be in serious trouble? Dang. Well, this has been Free Talk Live. More Free Talk Live coming up.
Our team.
And yes, hour 2 coming up. More Free Talk Live. Don't go anywhere.
The Free Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Free Talk Live continues with Hour 2 up next after the news here at listen.freetalklive.com.
From Future Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper. Talks between the UK, Germany, France and Iran have ended without a major breakthrough. European powers are seeking a de-escalation in the conflict between Israel and Iran, a conflict that's now entered its second week. FCN's William Denslow has more from Brussels.
After a meeting with US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, the UK's Foreign Secretary David Lammy said the goal is to prevent a regional escalation. Tehran says it's committed to diplomacy, but has ruled out talks with Washington while Israeli aggression continues. The Trump administration has set a 2-week deadline on whether to join Israel's military operation, as the two nations seek to guarantee that Iran won't develop or acquire nuclear weapons.
Meanwhile, Pakistan says it's ready to play a constructive role in easing the growing tensions between Iran and Israel. The country's foreign minister is set to visit Turkey this weekend to attend a session of the Organisation of Islamic Cooperation. FCN's Hira Mustafa reports from Islamabad.
According to officials, the foreign minister will advocate for an immediate ceasefire between Israel and Iran. Islamabad says it will push the international community to play a constructive role in de-escalating regional tensions. The meeting comes just days after the country's top military official held talks with US President Donald Trump in Washington this week over Iran-Israel tensions. Pakistan has voiced its support for Iran throughout the ongoing conflict, expressing deep concern over the worsening security situation in the region.
In the US, an appeals court has given Donald Trump the green light for continuing to use California's National Guard to quell protests against his immigration policies in Los Angeles. The decision supersedes last week's ruling by a federal judge which ordered the president to give back control of the troops to California's governor. FCN's Jagruti Dare has more on the implications of the latest ruling.
Late Thursday night, the 9th US Circuit Court of Appeals delivered what Donald Trump described on social media as a big win. 3 judges deemed the president's overriding of Governor Gavin Newsom to take command of around 4,000 members of California's National Guard was a reasonable move to police protests against the White House's deportation policies. A lower court had earlier instructed Mr. Trump to relinquish control on Friday afternoon, but this latest ruling means that, for now, Mr. Trump can keep using California's National Guard in LA as the issue continues to play out in the courts.
UK lawmakers have voted in favour of legalising assisted dying in England and Wales. The legislation would allow some terminally ill adults with under 6 months to live to seek medical assistance to end their lives. It will now move to the UK's House of Lords for further scrutiny. From Bureaus Worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, the view of a former top American defence chief about Europe's anxieties over the conflict in Iran. Governments across Europe have been holding crisis meetings, gaming out the possible consequences for their citizens in the region and in Europe itself if Iran retaliates for efforts to wipe out its nuclear program. Retired Brigadier General Mark Kimmett